Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is really an honor for me to be able to speak to such a distinguished audience. I would like to speak about the financial aspects of the new Silk Road. It is unquestionable what is the role of China in the 21st century. Its economy is still growing at a very impressive extent. It has one of the reserve currencies of the world and is actually the leading exporter of the whole world. The Chinese renminbi has been the sixth most widely used currency in terms of international payments last year, and it is just increasing. The country is in the process of opening up not only its economy, but also its financial markets, and it gives us access to Chinese bond markets and also stock markets. Closer ties mean also closer relationships on which we have to work. On this chart, you can see the Belt and Road Initiative on a map, which consists of both a new Silk Road, two parts of the Silk Road. One is a continental part and a maritime part. We can basically say that the maritime part is a Silk Road economic belt. It's a 21st century Silk Road. This whole initiative covers more than 60 countries. And as you can see on the map, Hungary is one of these, and we are proud to be one of these 60-plus countries. Hungary has a role in this to connect the East with the West. And we are looking on the opportunities the new Silk Road offers to us, starting from policy coordination through facilities connectivity, unimpeded trade, and financial integration, but also people-to-people connectivity, like the opportunity offered by this conference here. We believe that this is a win-win cooperation for all parties involved. And of course, we have to work on this project to take place and provide the financing which is necessary for this. On this chart, you can see the 5 priorities of the Belt and Road Initiative in a European context. The 16+1 cooperation exists since 2012. The first meeting was held in Warsaw, and it includes the countries Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Montenegro, Poland, Romania, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Macedonia, from which you can see most of on this map. And last year there was a Belt and Road Forum, as we had heard in the previous speeches. And in the negotiations in this Belt and Road Forum, Hungary has received an offer from the Chinese Exim Bank, which would provide financing with a 20 years maturity, so extreme long-term financing at a low 2.5% interest rate for the Budapest-Belgrade railway to be developed, which was announced by Peter Szijjártó, Minister of Foreign Relations and Trade. And it was also agreed that these opportunities would be expanded to Hungarian fruits exports to China. Let's have a look at the Chinese FDI into the whole European Union. You can see Hungary on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, Hungary is one of these lighter red, so rather pinkish colored countries, which means that the share of FDI to this group of countries has been rather limited in the last 15 years. But this is also at the same time an opportunity on which we can capitalize. Also, just last week, it was announced that a $1 billion fund would be set up, which would provide financing for investments in the Central and Eastern European region in the area of infrastructure, energy, agriculture, but also telecommunication. Again, announced by Peter Szijjártó last week. And the agreement is as follows. It was concluded between the Chinese and the Hungarian export-import banks. The Chinese export-import bank commits twice the amount what is provided by the Hungarian amount. So actually this is a good opportunity for Hungarian companies on which, as I heard, the Hungarian Exim Bank is keen on capitalizing. Here you can see a quick picture on the trade settlement in renminbi in Europe. If you can see on the left-hand side that The UK is far ahead of everybody in the EU, and France is the second, but significantly behind, and Germany is still visible. All the other countries, including ourselves, is rather limited in this regard. Again, this is an area where we can develop, but also it highlights the challenge coming from Brexit. So there's going to be the European Union after UK is not a member state any longer. On the right-hand side, you can see smaller graphs where we go into a little bit in detail. You can see on the top the UK currency decomposition of payments between the UK and China and Hong Kong. You can see that most of the trade is already taking place in renminbi, and other major currencies are just following. And on the bottom, I hope you can see two other graphs. On the left-hand side, the smaller one is the currency usage in Germany for direct payments vis-à-vis China and Hong Kong. And on the far right, you can see currency usage in France for direct payments between France and China and Hong Kong. Again, you can see that in Germany, the large part is euros, so the colors are a bit misleading here, but in France, again, the renminbi is almost taking an overwhelming part. Definitely, the message here is that there is room for improvement and development. Let me just show you a few words on financing, which aims, which is an important area of the Belt and Road Initiative and covers several areas. And the Magyar Nemzeti Bank, the Central Bank of Hungary, decided to take a structured approach on this. These are all well-known initiatives. For example, let me highlight the Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank, of which Hungary is a member already. And this is an opportunity for Hungary to export and also import know-how, in particular in the areas as it was announced in IT, information technology, but also water development. And an opportunity to access to Chinese markets. The capital of Hungary in the Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank will be $100 million. The financing covers both finding new sources of financing, but also finding new opportunities for investment. And these are investments both for Chinese in Hungary and also for Hungarians in China. There's a wide spectrum for investments, starting from setting up a new factory to investing in stocks or bonds. But also the RQFI, the renminbi Qualified Foreign Institutional Investors scheme provides already a formalized means of investing in onshore bond and stock markets for institutional investors. So we do encourage participants from Hungary to engage in these activities. Trade activities play an important role. Hedging instruments are being developed, and a settlement is a key for all these transactions. I will show you a bit more details on the coming slide. So the Central Bank of Hungary is also on the Silk Road. This is good news. And this chart summarizes the key achievements of our renminbi programming. We launched the program 3 years ago, and we have achievements already in all 5 pillars of this programming. For example, the Central Bank of Hungary has already invested parts of its foreign currency reserves in RMB denominated Chinese government bonds. We were the first on continental Europe, so basically the second in the whole European Union after the UK, to sign a swap line agreement with the People's Bank of China. And in order to increase the RMB usage, we have already set up a clearing and settlement infrastructure in terms of a memorandum of understanding, which was also signed in 2015. But we also look keenly on financial stability, and in order to provide that, we have engaged in cooperation with the CBRC, the Chinese Banking and Regulatory Commission, in 2016, so last year. Just to let you know that also this year we are spending a high-level visit to China. Basically, I'm traveling with a high-level delegation tomorrow to Beijing, and we will also continue our cooperation with the People's Bank of China and other important institutions there. But also research plays an important role here. We have several publications already on our website since 2014. There is a Budapest renminbi initiative taking place every year. This is what the central bank does and offers to private sector participants and all other stakeholders to bring them together to engage in cooperation in RMB related issues. It involves policymakers, decision makers from both the private sector and public sectors, the banking industry, other financial institutions, and also stock exchanges. The RMB markets, both offshore and onshore markets, have developed very significantly. Right now, RMB products are available in both in deposits and loan segments. Loans currently only for corporates, but depot and facilities also for individuals. There is a direct renminbi half trading available at some banks already. This is also a quite recent development. And there's a new milestone. The clearing and settlement infrastructure was set up with the Bank of China operating in Hungary. As a clearing bank, it was assigned in 2015 October. Banking services are developing. Besides the above-mentioned products, also RMB accounts are now available at some banks. Besides, to come to the last point on this slide, besides the publications of the MMB, there is also a joint conference was held between Budapest Stock Exchange and Bank of China on the usage of RQFI quota to make it more known to the public sector and to expect further development also in this regard. It was also a key theme of the annual conference of the central bank, the Budapest RMB initiative, which is taking place in early spring every year. Financial market opportunities are expanding. The onshore Chinese market is the third biggest bond market in the world and the seventh largest government bond market in the world. As I mentioned, the RQFI quota gives access to onshore Chinese stock and bond investments. And the Budapest Stock Exchange and the Shanghai Gold Exchange just concluded an agreement that on the BSE here in Budapest, there will be a dedicated segment to trade Chinese and Eastern-oriented assets, which is a key achievement and also an area where the Budapest Stock Exchange can develop. To summarize, not only institutionalized cooperation, but also people-to-people opportunities play a key role here. The central bank wants to facilitate this. We have dedicated a special issue of our quarterly scientific and financial journal, the Financial and Economic Review. A China special issue was released earlier this year, but I can also recommend the HUG, the Hungarian Geopolitics, which I hope is available to the participants to the conference with very informative material in this. We are keen on continuing the annual Budapest Renminbi Initiative conferences expected to happen next year in April and May. And also we are engaging in closer cooperation with the Tsinghua University in Beijing, not only by fostering joint research, but also by supporting Hungarian students visiting in summer schools of Tsinghua University, which I believe is an excellent opportunity to better learn from the Chinese culture, Chinese economy, and potential and possibilities and opportunities of the One Belt and One Road initiative. So hereby I would like to thank you for your attention and wish you a fruitful continued conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much.